Fine. I'm very excited to cast Leyline Binding. I didn't think that we are going to get our hands on Leyline Bindings today, but big thanks to Kurd Bros. Um, the Scion of Dracos I think are a bit more experimental. I do think that this kind of reminds me in some ways of this reminds me of how Prowess has a lot more tools than it used to have, and while I think that Rhinos was kind of a deck that wasn't that interesting to work on or innovate after Modern Horizons 2, it got solved really quickly. We were working on it really quickly. I think that now Leyline Binding gives like the deck a good reason to be white, and white opens up a lot of options with Ardent Plea, Omnath, Solitude, Teferi, Time Raveler. And I think that's because you're already kind of jumping through the domain hoop for Leyline Binding. Scion of Draco is going to be good in the 60 card versions, maybe also the 80 card versions. But this is kind of my take on it. I hadn't seen anybody posting lists with Scion of Draco. I'm not going to pretend like I'm the only one who could have seen it, but I am kind of worried about draws like this that just have Crashing Footfalls in them, where like you're going to not like be able to get domain as easily instead of just like fetching a Triumph turn 1, but it's still like an obvious keep here. I feel like this is like an excellent looking deck, an excellent first draft. I would be looking at other Magda targets. I think the sideboard looks great. I think this is an amazing first draft. I don't really have too many notes beyond that. Forcing Springleaf Drum is kind of interesting. I think I'll let it go. Okay, there's the Scion. So it's a conversation of being able to play Scion turn 2 or Suspending Footfalls turn 1. Let me double check my targets because I'm not playing a. Yeah, my only black source is a tap source. I think that I'm going to prioritize domain here this game, or maybe the ability to pay for Sentinel with Force of Negation this turn. We'll see. Okay, so now I also have Abzan Shadow to do. Shadow, Goy, Voidwalker, Ranger Captain. If you're going to play a white-based Shadow deck, you need to play 4 Ranger Captain. The card is nuts. It's better than any of your other 3 jobs. Better than Lily, better than Kai's Guile. Very good with your Unearths. 1 Clock of Omens to go infinite with Universal Automaton. That might... Or Moth's Changeling. Or I guess Automaton's the artifact one. That might be interesting, too. I also historically am not that big a fan of Esper Sentinel and discard-based decks, but this is, fine. I don't think Abrupt Decay is a main deckable modern card, though. So, like, for the most part, like, your green splash of Tarmogoyf is fine. Decay is not very good, and I don't know that this is the best, best thing for you to be doing with your splash. They've got Nettlecyst here. I'm gonna go ahead and play my Scion. Don't like Kai's Guile that much. Again, there's Kai's Guile, get out of here. 4 Ranger Captains in here. Decay is getting out of here. Maybe playing one more Liliana. A light green splash for Tarmogoyf or Team of Battle Rage or Ragavan or Drown of the Lock are all totally fine. I'm trying to think of any other green card you really want here besides Goyf, and I can't, like, at least off the top of my head. I'm kind of blanking. So they did have the Cauldra. This, whatever the site is, you have to like to click onto the sideboard. Turok Fulminator, Wandering Emperor. I'm starting to like really dislike the Wandering Emperor, to be honest. The more I play against it, the more I'm disliking it. Okay, we have a Solitude for this turn. Have to pitch the Omnath. Are we attacking here? They're gonna gain so much life. They also still have Nettlecyst, which is kind of scary. I think we just pass. Domain feels like kind of a lot of hoops to jump through for a 2-mana 4/4. Don't understand. We're also playing Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding is a 1-mana cast out. So the fact that both are cards that work with your like Rhino, Cascade deck building restrictions is very interesting to me. I don't like this member of the sideboard. I don't like. I think you need more like efficient removal. Okay, I think we'll fire both Sentinels here. We do let them draw cards, but I think that's going to have to be an L we're going to take, and then hopefully we can draw a land and cascade into Rhinos. Just Solitude the Omnath now so that we can, or the Cauldron now so that we can take less damage, kill these in the turn. GPM, think with the 9 months. I think those are my thoughts on the Abzan Shadow list. If for some reason Abrupt Decay is ever like particularly good in Modern, I'm more down, but I don't think Decay is very good. Paladin feels like I'm just losing this game now. I think I have to let it resolve. Then I'm like letting them draw 2. We do have Leyline Binding as like, oh, awesome, they equipped here. Oh wait, sorry, they equipped here, but they can just still equip. Yeah, I think we'll just let this happen and then try to draw Leyline Binding. Yeah, Hammer just crazy. Although Leyline Binding, Solitude, Force of Vigor, it's hard to feel too bad about this matchup. So I was talking about this with the Dive Down podcast, guys. I always watch Doom play Rhinos against Hammer, and Doom is always, raging against Hammer and complaining about it and losing to it too. But then the Dive Down guys are like, oh, but this is like one of Rhino's best matchups is Hammer time. So is that just like Doom running bad, or maybe I'm just like watching like a weird sample size? Scion looking pretty lackluster. Chill, chat, please chill. This is like literally the only card I cast this game. I did draw the Leyline Binding. This is the only card I cast this game. I don't know how lackluster it is. I just, I get an insane Hammer time draw where I'm missing my 3rd land drop as Rhinos. I cast my 2 mana 4/4. Please, chat, chill. It's literally the first game. Leyline Binding looking good, huh? Leyline Binding looking mediocre, I think, huh? It's looking mediocre. That's probably worst matchup. Yeah, I think it's just like maybe my experience watching Doom that's giving me that impression. Yeah, if I had forced the Springleaf Drum, it was better. Obviously, like saving Force for Hammer Sigard's 8 is pretty tempting. I think I'm dead here, huh? But again, Scion of Draco and Rhinos being a really powerful 2-mana play is super premium. It is like a super premium thing, since like historically that's like really been what Rhinos is lacking, is a proactive 2-mana play. It is the only card in the whole format that does this, and it does it pretty well, being a 2-mana 4/4 flyer. So I think I'm going to go down 1 Omnath, 2 Ardent Plea here. This has been in this match against Hammer. Could be good against other decks. Yeah, I think that's fair too. I think I'm still going to leave them in. It could be correct. It could be correct to sideboard them out though. Maybe you're right. You don't look dead after all. I was not literally dead on board, but I think I was at a point of no return in that game. If you could describe a series like the fact that they're gonna have those Saga tokens, which are so unbeatable to me. I know they had Nettle Sister in their hand, and I'm just missing land drops the whole game. I felt like we were at the point of no return. Yeah, games have been a bit rough today. Plenty of lands in this hand, though. Saving the Crashing Footfalls to pitch to Force. And let's just do that now. Kind of Force of Negation. I don't mind Force of Negation as Rhinos against Hammer, especially on the draw, not on the draw here. The main reason Rhinos is getting his Hammer's Fury. I mean, we're playing Solitude instead of Fury, so I think the point that this version has no Fury and it's all of a sudden weak to Rhinos is probably not true, right? Like, Solitude is perhaps better against Rhinos, against Hammer Time than Fury. It's at least close. We've also drawn only lands this game. Sorry, versus hammer. And my opponent has rebuilt pretty well. Please, can I draw like Force of Vigor, not Force of Negation, Force of Vigor. Kool-Aid Summers, thank you for 2 months, appreciate ya. Main phase make a Saga token for no discernible reason that I can tell. Another Solitude's kind of nice. I feel like playing around Pithing Needle is kind of silly here. Yeah, nice to draw 2 spells also in a row, even if the force is kind of medium. My opponent still does have a hammer in their hand that they tutored with the Stoneforge Mystic, so if they have another land, they are going to be able to hit me for 11 potentially, which is maybe just an 11 I would take, so I can keep the Solitude in play and gaining me 3 a turn, and I have another Solitude in my hand. How's Jeskai Phoenix performing? So we played 1 match with See the Truth, found out See the Truth was bugged, or 1 game with See the Truth, found out See the Truth was bugged, but for that one, we had 1 glorious moment with it. Ooh, now we can Leyline Binding plus Solitude in the same turn. And so I think we're just going to wait till See the Truth bug is fixed to work on it. It is something I'm pretty excited about. I think it looks like solid. Should Mystic Binding now in case of Cauldra? I mean, I can just Leyline the Cauldra, right? What is this Rhinos main deck missing from normal Rhinos? Fury? Fury, Dead Gone, Bonecrusher Giant. I feel like my Force of Negation is not getting like much better than this. Although, yeah, I kind of, yeah, let's go Force of Negation into potentially maybe just hold the Binding. If I draw a land, I can pay for Sentinel, Solitude, and Binding. Yeah, the Force is just not getting that much better. And this attack is fun. I've got the 3/2 life linker. I have plenty of life points. I could leave the fetch land uncracked for Omnath, but I think because I maybe just want to use all my mana, this is also fine to just crack it. I think that 4-color Omnath probably should play Leyline Binding. I think that Leyline Binding is very, very good. DMU is Dominaria United. Why would they play second Sigarda's Aid here? Oh, they're worried about Leyline Binding. Makes sense. That's fine. So attack with both, and then I'm going to Solitude the Sentinel. If they have Blacksmith skill, then we probably have to Leyline Binding the... I'm not sure if we Leyline Binding the Sentinel or the Hammer, because they just don't have it. I'll just take 5 here. Keep holding up the Binding. How long is streaming today? I don't know, just until I feel like stopping. We're 6 hours in. I'm starting a new league with Leyline Binding. That's really exciting. We will see. We'll see. Ooh, I forgot that we're a Rhinos deck. That's right. We're a Rhinos deck. And we still have Fire Ice Leyline Binding up too. Might ice the construct this turn. That's pretty bad. We don't know about another hammer in their hand anymore. Let me just go Fire Pure Steel Paladin. See how they react. Is Leyline Binding better than Prismatic Ending and Blue-Eye Control? I think that they're going to complement each other really well because you can cast Prismatic Ending on turn 1 and you can't cast Leyline Binding on turn 1. Is it better? I don't know if how important that conversation is because I think a huge chunk of the time you're just going to play both. Do you think 4 Channelers is right? I think 4 Channeler felt very good in the Bant Company deck today. I really like them. It is too early to say for sure. It's possible that you're going to want to play less than 4 as well, but the next time I play Bant, I'm going to still play 4. So let's go double block this construct, and I think my opponent's going to try to hammer their Ornithopter, and I'll just Leyline Binding it. Do you think Binding is going to replace March? Yeah, I think you're going to play it in blue-white. I don't know if that was like unclear, but yes, I think you are going to play 4 Leyline Bindings or a bunch of Leyline Bindings in blue-white. Why are they doing this? This doesn't change the math at all, right? 7/7. It's 2 8/8s. I think I'm still going to Leyline this Ornithopter though. Or do I take the hammer? I guess I'll take the hammer so a Paladin's less impactful. They can have the O2. No, we haven't gotten our hands on the Lord Windgrace just yet. Oh, Indestructible. Sorry, I forgot about the Indestructible. That's fine, though. Force is interesting. Yeah, again, every deck is going to enable... In Blue-White Control, you'll just play a Raugrin Triome, and you can play Breeding Pool Watergrave, and it's going to be just fine.
I'm going to be cooking some food.
Okay.
You want some?
Yeah, I'm going to be going for a while.
Okay. Is there anything you particularly
Something
want?
from HelloFresh, probably.
Yeah. I was going to do the coconut curry.
That sounds great. That sounds really good.
Okay. It's noodles. Is that okay? Noodles on string?
Yeah. You have the Windgraces. Can you donate? You can, Rock. You can. I'll definitely play them tomorrow, if not today. Also, that's 3 hammers used. They get a Shadow Spear here, though. Interesting. The construct also, 4/4. Oh boy. Main phasing this to force a block is kind of cool. Please update that. Yeah, I believe that Stream Decker is down. I will update the Stream Decker when it goes back up. If Stream Decker's up, I'll update it. Okay, it looks to be back up. Okay, Stream Decker should not be up to date. So opponent's last card in hand is just Shadow Spear. I was worried about this Ornithopter being a hammer, but it was not. Is there any world where I kill anything besides Construct Token Shadow Spear? I don't really think so. Think they have no more hammer? I mean, did they really side out a hammer? Like, in what world do you ever side out a hammer, I mean, let's say miscounted, because there's 1 in play, 2 in exile. Like, in what world do you ever in any game, any situation, side out a Colossus Hammer? 2 hammers exiled, 1 in play, none in the graveyard. Right? Oh, the Leyline Binding. Okay, I missed that there was 1 under the binding. Okay, yeah, sorry, I forgot that we bindinged 1. Okay. No, I think that Shadow was also right that the Scions are kind of bad in this matchup. I was busy yelling at them instead of listening. So we go up to like 200, please. First Teferi could maybe be okay too. Okay, thank you, Rock. Oh, trade request sent. I don't see it. Yeah, I didn't see the trade request, Rock. Maybe send it again if you feel like you did it right. Opponent's on a mold to 6. Solitude is nice versus Paladin. Yeah, but that's kind of like the only card it's like any good against, and it only buys you a turn too. They did mold a 5 here. Stoneforge Mystic. So if they do get Cauldra complete, then I have the Teferi to bounce the token. They do grab Cauldra. 3 cards in their hand. Let's get our Ardent Triome, so our domain is online. Then should just be relatively content to Fire Ice the Sentinel. It's possible that they play like a Midnight or something. Not very likely, I guess. If they do have Blacksmith skill, I can force the Blacksmith skill. Don't like Cauldra coming to play. I'm so far ahead. I only lose 2 pound with Cauldra. If I kill the Stoneforge Mystic instead of killing the Sentinel here, their Sentinel lives. It's going to draw a card next turn when I cast any of my 3 drops. I think, and then Teferi is also an amazing answer to Cauldra. I'm like pretty happy to just take this line instead and take 5 this one turn. Tanny with the raid, thank you. They're like pretty far away from Metalcraft for Paladin with Cauldra too. Although, oh dude, they did have the Midnight. No, I got so punished. I think Bankoko went well. I think Aether Channeler felt very strong to me. It's obviously like still kind of early, but I will say that it felt like we ran kind of bad with our companies. We were bricking completely or hitting 1 creature like way more often than we're hitting 2 creatures also. There's the Paladin. I told you so, says the chatters. They still don't have Affinity. Yeah, the fact that their 3 cards were like Paladin 2 1-mana artifacts is pretty tough. Dead Teferi, 1 card in hand. I'm probably casting Agent instead of Omnath this next turn since we have the fetch land in hand too. Or maybe we can ambush them. If they do equip Cauldra too, Omnath is going to gain us enough life that we're not just dead. Another Paladin. His last card, a 1-mana artifact. Seems not. Cooking stream was a lot of fun, Todd. It was really fun. And the meal was like, it was very good too. So definitely going to block the Midnight to get them a little bit further away from Metalcraft instead of the Stoneforge Mystic here. So they Blacksmith skill, the Paladin for Indestructible. No cards left in hand. White, blue, red, green. What have I become? My sweetest friend. I haven't played Omnath in a long time. I've played it plenty on the stream though. Feels very dirty. Hello, Adina. Hello. It's been a really long time since I've registered it. Not sure what Athena's doing. Just standing there. Just standing. Waiting for the stream to be over. We're going late today. This deck is also really interesting, exciting, of course. No green mana. We do have 4s. We're on the draw. I'm going to mulligan, I think. Okay, keep this. Turn 2 Leyline Binding, turn 3 Crashing Footfalls. We'll see how much energy I have if I want to play, how long I want to go. We're live for like 6 hours now. I'm going to go kind of late tonight. Yeah, VIP rock. Thank you, thank you. Okay, fetch before they can void counter this. And then am I going to want to just main phase? Ooh. So I can't suspend Crashing Footfalls and Leyline Binding this turn. It's pretty bad if I let them untap with this though, so I think I am just gonna main phase binding this. I want to bring the standing desk down, but Athena hates when I put the standing desk down, so I'm going to leave it up. And then it's probably a good priority for me to get a plains with Arid Mesa next turn so that I can... Oh, Brummer. So that I can play around Blood Moon by being able to Leyline Binding a Blood Moon. Okay, that's a good draw, though. Very good draw. Stomping Ground done both. No, this is Indatha Triome, so if I have Stomping Ground, my domain is only 4, not 5, right? Okay, so maybe they have like a lightning bolt and they're going to trade here. I'm going to obviously block, I think. And what's cool about these kind of spots is we have 10 Cascade spells in the deck and not just 8, so we're like way more likely to top deck a Cascade spell. Fury is pretty scary though. Could draw any Cascade spell, could draw Leyline Binding, could draw Omnath, could draw Fire Ice. Most spells are good. Solitude is not castable here, unfortunately. This and like Force of Negation, the 2 spells that are a little bit awkward. But if we do draw a land next turn, this is fine. Should try Kavus and Rhinos. Yeah, I actually played in my RCQ last weekend someone who was playing Territorial Kavu in a Domain Rhinos deck, which is, to be honest, part of the reason why I'm playing this. That being said, their list was pretty different, and I think had some other issues with it, but I think it was what gave me the idea for Scion and Rhinos in this version. Are they coming down next turn? 2 turns. Main phasing this, obviously, because the reflection can copy. Ooh. What do they have under the Voidwalker? Nothing under the Voidwalker, but they can copy the Voidwalker and, you know, cast something. You can't play Kavus and Rhinos. So the idea behind Kavu and Rhinos is like you could just like be okay cascading into it. You know what I mean? I think it's not correct to play, especially now like with this new version. Like you just have plenty of good options. But it's I think better than it sounds. Also, do you need limited for the set? I mean, I'm just always so hyper focused on constructed that no, I haven't done any limited. Oh, Undying Malice Reflection. Interesting. This copy of Voidwalker doesn't do anything, though. It just gets sacked. Oh, no, they can cast Solitude. They can cast Solitude. Right. Good line. Yeah, and then, yeah, I was thinking that they would be able to cast Rhinos every turn if they kept the Fable around, although it seems like they're just going to be able to do that quickly anyways. No, every Voidwalker doesn't have its own exile. It's just exiled with a Void counter. So we do get some Rhinos down. The Voidwalkers also being unblockable is really tough. Omnath, good top deck. Solitude, good top deck. Let's just Solitude the Voidwalker now before they get to cast my Footfalls. Hold the fetch land in hand for Omnath. Pass. Oh, but they also have Reflection plus Fable here. I mean, I just need to draw another removal spell, I guess. Fury. Kill a Rhino or kill a Solitude? Kill a Rhino. Thankfully, my deck is like, you know, mono removal spells. Pretty easy block. I think we blocked the Solitude too. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't do it. I don't... I'm not sure how many outs we actually have here, though. And the Scam deck is so good. So I think I'm going to want... Oh, Force of Negation stops Blood Moon. I have Leyline Binding for Blood Moon. On the play, I can maybe, like, preemptively Teferi. I think I'll go down, like, -1 Force... -1 Solitude, +2 Teferi on the play. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be spots where Solitude's going to be better, Fury's going to be better. One other thing I really like about Solitude in this deck is with, you know, Solitude and Fire Ice and Leyline Binding and Force, you actually get to play at instant speed a decent amount, right? Yeah, maybe Subtlety is a good option against them too. I think that our matchup is like, in theory, good enough that I don't need to change too much. How is Binding for Blood Moon? We have 6 mana. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I thought you could just float white mana, cast it. You can't really. So maybe I just do need to have the full 4 force. Maybe I'll play 1 Subtlety too. Let's try 1 Subtlety. Yeah, sorry. I was just thinking you could float mana. I mean, we could still try to fetch basics in this matchup. And then like have Leyline Binding cost us like 4 mana instead of 6. Yeah, it's only 4 mana if you get 1 planes. Let's keep this hand. I think I'm okay just playing Raugrin Triome on turn 1 and then maybe only having 4 types early here. Just go like, Triome, Ice, then Ardent Plea, maybe with Force up. Runs on a Mold of 6. No Rockrick. The thing about 3 drops in this deck, it's like Rockrick's interesting. You already have 10 nutty 3 drops, and like, would you want to play Rockrick over any number of Teferis also? Not that I think Rockrick would be bad, but it's also like you're playing Rockrick in a deck without Manamorphose is weird. Okay, probably thought he's the Ardent Plea, right? Ice them. And hope the top of our library is kind. I don't think we're ever supposed to force that Thoughtseize. They do have another 1 mana play. Monkey. Big draw step. Bad draw. Man, your top decks and Rhinos are just they're so crucial, Sometimes you draw yeah, obviously you just rip the Rhinos sometimes with their Thoughtseize, sometimes you draw land Footfalls. You get to do nothing. Voidwalker, 3 cards in hand, still doing fine here, I think. Them knowing about Solitude is a bit worse for me. I think we just play this tapped. Take our beats. Unlikely that they run anything into the Hardcast Force, but you never know. We also already have Forest Island, so it's not like we get to fetch to play around Blood Moon better. Violent Outburst. I might cast that. Just cascade into something random. Hopefully you just hit like Undying Evil or something. They hit another Voidwalker, which is horrendous for us. Thank you, Ragavan. Very cool. We draw another land, which is so bad. Top decks today have been so bad, just all day long. I'm going to jam the Solitude. Yeah, Ragavan's the card that gets all the good top decks. Try to block the Ragavan. The Voidwalkers are also big issues too. I was surprised they just are letting this happen. I guess this probably means they have a really good follow-up. Oh, just Undying Malice. Rhino's also not coming down this turn. They're coming down next turn though. There's a Leyline Binding. It does seem better to me to Leyline Binding the Voidwalker because this is going to allow them to. I think I'll just go ahead. Or maybe we could just take 2 mana for this and then kept the fetch land for Omnath. That's probably fine also. But I'll get hit by Ragavan again. I think the Voidwalker's pretty scary. The Rhinos are about to block the Ragavan next turn. Voidwalker's still unblockable. Yeah, they nerfed the RNG of Coco after the update. Conspiracy. So they hit an Omnath. Obviously, that would have been a great top deck for me, but thankfully, it doesn't seem like they can cast that this turn. 5 cards in their hand, though. Spending 3 mana to grief my Force of Negation. Huge top deck this turn. At 6 life. Another land. Okay. I think I'll play one. I should play the one they knew about though. It's whatever. This is what it's like to play around against any discard deck, you know. You know, when they're just taking all of when they take your relevant spells, you draw all lands. You just lose these games. Well, Forest Island are not great at casting Leyline Binding. Got to mulligan this. This hand has Raugrin Triome to go with the Scion. If this is the Ardent Triome, we're in better shape. I think we can still keep this, though. Points on a Mold of 5. Don't know the matchup yet. Looks like Hammer again. Hammer's been pretty popular lately. Put back a Rhinos, draw Rhinos. Jeff, 11 months, thank you. Three cards in their hand. One of them is a Pure Steel Paladin. Interesting to see them just run out Paladin like this on the Moldify. They probably just have Hammer in their hand and they're going to jam. So we can potentially fire the Paladin next turn, then maybe just play Scion of Draco the following turn with a tapped Ardent Triome. Alright, I think that this Pure Steel Paladin is too dangerous to be left alive. Although if they have Blacksmith skill, this is a huge blowout with the Sentinel. Tank, Blacksmith skill. A good decision, I think, to cast the Blacksmith skill here. A wise call indeed. Could maybe try to ambush with Violent Outburst. I think I'm going to play the Scion, not give them another card. Any hammers? No hammers over there. Okay, so we're going to attack with the Scion. Do they ever in a million years fall for this Violent Outburst? I kind of feel like my opponent is going to. I kind of feel like they're going to. I don't know why they are. Okay, they also drew this for turn, so they shouldn't have a hammer in hand. But I think if my opponent is going to like tank a long time on the Blacksmith skill and the Fire Ice, it doesn't seem like they play a lot of Magic online, so we maybe just are going to be able to get them. Also, like they also shouldn't have a hammer in their hand here, right? With like the fact that they didn't play land last turn, they didn't have a hammer last turn. They would have played it, and then they played a land this turn. That being said, I don't know for sure. Yeah, that's true. They may be a little bit surprised by the Rhinos also. Good point. I kind of feel like, to some extent, the Fire Ice gives it away, but you are right that sometimes people just play this in Domain. Now, thanks to the Scion, the Rhinos have double trample. They do have Nettle Cyst, which gives +3/+3, which means that they can put it on the Sentinel and trade. If they put it on the Paladin, my Rhino is a 5/4, so it is a trade, right? They do put it on the Paladin, unless I'm miscounting. Oh, I am miscounting. Sorry, I didn't count the Sentinel. It is +4/+4, so they are going to be able to eat my Rhino. And they misstacked their triggers. They needed to order it to where living weapon resolved before the Sigarda's Aid trigger resolved. Important to know. And then I have to ask myself: is this suspended Rhinos more relevant than the life? And I say no, because I can attack with this and take a hit from the Ornithopter with a hammer on it potentially. Although no, I can't, because they can just equip here, then kill me. Still think that this is never coming off suspend this game. How the new card's feeling? Leyline Binding's been very good. Scion of Draco's, I've been liking it so far in the Rhinos deck. Yeah, I think I've been liking all the new cards. I don't think that anything is like super busted or broken or anything. You know what I mean? I think the new set has a lot of like small additions and nothing like super. I think super duper crazy besides Leyline Binding, which I do think is a nutty card. Doc with the 7 months, appreciate you. This is a good way for my opponent to rebuild here. 5/5 Germ Token. I guess I leave the fetch land uncracked, so if I draw a Omnath, I get to. I double block here, right? I guess I take it. Leave a Rhino around, take 5. They're gonna lose the Germ Token when they double equip.
Inspiring Spike.
Yeah, but the fetch land uncracked will let me deal them 4 with an Omnath if I draw it. We're thinking about Minsk and Maddening Hex. I mean, I think those cards are very good. I think that they will be impactful in Legacy. So Fire Ice, Solitude, Omnath, all really good draws. Leyline Binding, obviously. Ooh, there's Omnath. I always feel like the villain when I cast this card. I guess that's because I am. Oh, but this is cool, though. Scion of Draco, Omnath. First Strike, Vigilance, Hexproof Omnath with Scion of Draco is pretty big. So let's go ahead and just deal them the 4, I think. So when they block here... Oh, they just concede? I don't think they were dead. They go down to 9. They block here. They take 12, 16, 18, gain 7 up to 16. Oh, yeah, I guess they... No, if they block here, they're not dead on board, but I guess they lose the Ornithopter. Okay, so yeah, let's cut the Scions in this matchup, bring in the Forces, and 1 Teferi like last time. Yeah, no Yorion in this version. I also built a Yorion version too. So I think the Yorion, it's kind of weird, right? But I kind of feel like in some ways the Yorion version of this deck is easier to build because there's just like easy room for Leyline Binding, easy room for all the incarnations, easy room for Omnath, easy room for Teferi, or maybe you play Scion over Teferi, maybe you build the mana base a little bit differently. But like in I think the 80 card version is just easier to build. That being said, I also think that like Scion and Leyline, like if you play these in the 60 card version, you have a more proactive, efficient early game, which is maybe more of a priority in Rhinos. Also, your sideboard cards are a lot better. And so I do think it's a conversation. And I'm really proud, I think, of where the 60 card version is right after release. I think finding, like, I didn't see anybody else talk about Scion in the Rhinos deck once you get Leyline Binding. I think that this is like a really interesting direction to go since you're already jumping through that domain hoop. But, you know, I digress. Well, it's still like a little bit early, right? Yeah, you're also double bad guy if you play if you play Yorion too. My opponent hasn't done anything yet. I think I'm gonna ice the land. I also feel like the entire time I've been playing like this matchup, I'm just like, I want to draw a Leyline Binding. I want to draw a Leyline Binding non-stop. We haven't actually drawn it that often. Dranith Magistrate. Okay, it's pretty good here. Plenty of answers to that, though. Alright. Dead to 2 hammers. Obviously hoping to draw Leyline Binding this, cast a Cascade spell. Solitude's good too. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty easy. Just Solitude, pitch Omnath, exile this, cast Shardless Agent. How did Feeding Stack perform? I think so. We played like a couple matches with the Frantic Inventory version. We can't play with See the Truth because See the Truth is bugged with Founding the Third Path. It should allow you to draw 3 cards when you see the truth off flashback. You don't get to, which is a big bummer. I think that we played one game with the See the Truth version. It was very exciting before we found out the bug. But then we played with Frantic Inventory instead, and I think just like from that couple games we played, it really seemed like See the Truth would be better. So I think we're going to wait until we can see some truth. Let's mulligan this. We don't have Leyline, we don't have Force. Okay, there we go. I did report the bug, yeah. Or at the very least, tweeted it out, which is as good. Okay. Okay, you guys hear the pitter-patter of raindrops on the window? Okay, so we can Solitude the Dranith Magistrate. Actually doesn't currently do anything against my hand. Might be interested in just, getting the Omnath down, cracking some fetch lands, hardcasting these. We got some time. DMU is the abbreviation, for Dominaria United. Alright, big draw. Okay, slamming Omnath. Probably doesn't matter too much which color we get. Yeah. So Ornithopter likely is going to give them the Metalcraft that they so desperately crave for Pure Steel Paladin. But thankfully we have Force of Vigor. I guess if they have Blacksmith Skill, a blowout could ensue. But yeah, I think I obviously I could like let them or force before this happens so that I can try to get a more efficient block going. But I think that this is also fine to where I could try to block something with the Omnath if they don't have Blacksmith Skill. They do have it though. So now I have to ask. I think I should probably just take 11. The upside of just drawing a land and being able to hardcast Solitude seems pretty high and not lose my Omnath. Although I do just have another Omnath in hand. Yeah, let me actually chump block because I could just go cast Omnath, try to find. Then that gives me an extra look at a fetch land to hardcast a Solitude here. We do find one. And I guess we do need to decide, are we Solituding the Paladin or are we Solituding the Dranith Magistrate? I think it should just be the Paladin this turn. I could jump block this, exile it again next turn. Should have plenty of life to work with. They have 3 cards in their hand. Oh, that's horrible. Okay, let's maybe take 11. Maybe we'll do something like attack, flash this in, jump block, draw a fetch land, could also survive the attack. 1 card in my opponent's hand. Not a very good draw. Probably best to save that for Force of Vigor. Think I should still attack for 7 and just plan on flashing in Solitude to chump block. I have the worst draw in the deck. Another Paladin, if their last card is another Hammer, which it is, it's bad. Actually loses the game if they don't equip onto the Hushbringer, not the Magistrate. Brutal. Today has been today's been a bad day to run bad, you know what I mean? Let me think. Do we want to play Jund with Soul of Windgrace and just get to like everything today, or save it tomorrow and do another one of this, or call it early? Soul of Windgrace Jund does sound pretty fun. Yeah, this is our first league with the deck.